till now, we have covered basics of security, CIA. First is Introduction to Information Security, Cybersecurity. Then we have covered CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We have seen basic definitions. Then we have covered security controls, defense in depth, phishing attacks, and now we are about to cover uh, personal security. Okay, so what is personal security? This is again very important. So we have seen there are three types of control: administrative, administrative, then you have administrative, physical, and technical. So we are about to start with administrative controls. Okay. So there is a study, okay, which says that 60% of hacks are due to internal people. Okay. There is a study which says that 60% of attacks are due to internal people. Don't take it as an offense that people, that why you are saying this, we are all employees. So remember, it's not always they say it happens. It's not they say that it happens deliberately. Sometimes in ignorance also, you become victim to that. So significant portion of human created security problems results from poor security practices, like people not following process and procedures properly, not paying any attention to policies, not following policies. So people inside the organization, the insider, the employees, they need access to the data in order to do their job. And that's the reason access is provided to them. When access is provided, they can have the potential to abuse these privileges. Like you have access to some data of a company. Like, for example, I do have access to the content of uh, the content of different companies to which I work with. Okay, they have given me access. I won't name the company. They have given me access so that I can work on it. They have given me access to the data so that I can work on it. But I can misuse that. I can use it for your trainings, other trainings with other vendors. So you have to have process in place with the help of which people can use it for their work. At the same time, you can prevent the misuse. Like, for example, they have, like, simply learn, they have provided me access to their content. So their access is password protected, which means that I can't change it. I can only read it. So same thing can be applicable to the organizations. So main purpose of personal security is to keep people, is to give them access, but at the same time keep them restrained so that they can't misuse it. So provide them a framework which allows them to do their data. At the same time, apply controls so that they can't misuse that. So there are different kinds of controls available. There are many kinds of different types of controls available. Background screening, mandatory vacations, non-disclosure agreements, non-compete agreements, job rotations, separation of duties, security awareness trainings, job descriptions, and employee termination process. The first one is job description. Now the question comes to your mind is why job description is a part of security controls. In 2013, I was audited. My function was audited for ISO 27001 compliance. Auditor asked me to share. Auditor asked me to share the JDs. job description of my team members. I shared him JDs. Then he come up with the observation that Ajit, in your job description, security roles and responsibilities of your team members are not mentioned. So look, job descriptions normally contain simple KRAs, key responsibility areas, and key resources, the key functions that you should perform. We don't mention security in it. Then people can easily say security is not my responsibility, is not mentioned in that. So he just asked me to enter two lines, complying to BT security policies, procedures, and standards. And another thing he asked me is to have or has to add is completing security trainings and awareness trainings in time. So now I've formally made these things a part of his role, and people has to abide by that. So since then, I started as a now I'm an auditor. I started looking for these things in the job descriptions. Separation of duties. Separation of duty is a preventive control, and we are alive today because of separation of duties. I give you an example here. In 1970s, there was a incident called as this incident happened, which we call as the Cuban Missile Crisis. It happened during Cold War. If you're not aware what is Cold War, Google it. Okay. So Russian submarine was sailing near Cuba, and US warship was also placed near that Cuba. So there was some missile test conducted by US US warship from US warship. Russian submarine thought it's an attack on them. So there were three submarine commanders. Out of those three, two were pretty hot at it. They wanted to launch a nuclear torpedo in response to that attack, so-called attack. Two said yes, we launched an attack. Third says no, because in order to launch, there was separation of duties in place. All three had to come together to launch an attack. Third says no, we should wait. Heated argument break among all three, and time passed, and they realized it's not an attack, it was just a test. Had separation of duty not in place, they would have retaliated with nuclear torpedo. US would have responded back with nuclear torpedo, and world would have been a nuclear debris. Job rotation. Another example, if you've seen movie Ghazi Attack, same thing happened in a Ghazi Attack movie also. If you've seen, I don't know, but yes. Another example of separation of duty, bank locker. You have a manager, and then you have a key, two keys, one is with the manager, one is with you. But that is, you have to come together to open a key. Job rotation. Job rotation is a detective control. Separation of duty is a preventive. I always used to wonder in my younger days. Now I'm not young anymore, but not old also, but mid-age now. So that's why people working in government jobs, okay, they are being transferred after a certain time. Or even you see in your office, if you allow some senior person to work in his position for more than 3 to 4 years, for more than 2 to 3 years, he act like he's a god of that department. This is what the people mentality are. The power corrupts people, even at a smaller level. Even you see your team lead, he thinks like he is a big boss of everything. And that is very common in Indian culture, I would say. No apprehension in saying that. So if you allow them to work in a position for a long time, they will start exploiting that position to their advantage. That's a problem. So that's the reason once person is transferred, if he's involved in some wrongdoing, the other person can easily find it out during his tenure. I give you a personal example of mine. When I was given a job of a head of security operations center, when I took over the role, I found that a lot of fraudulent practices of hiring were practiced, which were not good and in line with the policy. So I detected it and I take some action. Job rotation is primarily a detective control. Okay. Cross training. Employees are just prepared for multiple job positions that helps on knowledge redundancies. Then background verifications. Like when you join an organization, background verification is being done for all the employees. This is now have become mandatory and a common practice to check criminal background, police verification, court records, and other things. Non-disclosure agreement. Suppose, just like when recently I'm working on a content development project for for Simplyland of Commercial Security 701. Okay, so they have made me sign an NDA that the content that I'm developing is a part of a proprietary of Simplyland. I can't misuse it and I can't use it personally. Similarly, when auditor comes in for access for audit in the organizations, okay, they will get they have to have access to your processes, data, so you can made them sign an NDA so that they don't disclose it to the outside once their job is done from here. Similarly, when as a part of your job, you will be given access to a lot of information which is considered as proprietary. Then companies in the beginning, they will make them sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Then you have non-compete agreement. Non-compete agreement is not applicable at our level. Infosys in India, they decided to implement at our level also, but it doesn't augur well. This is like a person who are in charge of a unique corporate position, senior level roles. It is in their role, they have to sign a non-compete agreement to not join their competitor. Recently, Wipro has lodged a case against Cognizant because they have hired a ex senior employee, quite a C-level employee of Wipro. Mandatory vacations. Mandatory vacation is a detective control. A person in charge of a unique corporate position will be asked to go on regular leaves, periodic leaves. Normally, it can vary from 1 week to even a month. So that 1 week to even a month, when he is on leave, someone else will be asked to work in his position. And if he is involved in any wrongdoing, that will be detected. So mandatory vacations and job rotation, always remember that is a detective control. Separation of duty is primarily a preventive control. Employee termination process. There are two types of terminations. One is involuntary and second one is voluntary. Voluntary is when person resign on its own. So here, access are being disabled on the last day. You will be having continued access till you exit, till your time in a company is over, and on the last day, your accesses are revoked. But when we talk about your involuntary resignations, in US, this is pretty very common. Yesterday only Intuit had fired 1,800 people. I think 10% of the workforce they have let it go. So they simply followed a principle of hire and fire. And when you follow this kind, so you delete the access, disable the access before a person is informed about that. So that is I would call as okay termination process. So Why this is important, I will showcase it to you. Look, this is all part of your security. Although HR people will take care of it, but when we talk about security, you have seen that we have administrative controls, we have physical controls, we have technical controls. Because when people think about security, they only think about your technical controls like firewall, IPS, ITS. No, security is about following a defense in depth where different controls like administrative, personal, administrative, technical, physical, all work in tandem with each other. Like, for example, you have a firewall, correct? That's a technical control. Okay. Now you need to protect your firewall from physical attacks. You can't keep your firewall in an open room with no access control and no security. So you need physical control. In order to implement a firewall, in order to make a changes onto the firewall, you require standard operating procedures, a procedural document. That is what? A personal management control. So all these things goes hand in hand. I'll show you one thing. You can see, although you may not, so just to see, there is, you must have heard about ISO 27001. Have you heard about it, anyone? No? Hello? Like,
No.
no. So look, ISO 27001 is a framework of security, of controls, which most of the organization follows. So in that you will find controls related to personal security that I have covered it with you. I just show you. Give me a minute. This is look, every organization, try to understand it this way. Look, there are, as you have seen, there are different types of controls in the organization. People related controls, administrative controls, like there are teams, then there are physical controls, technical controls. Okay. So there are different teams who are responsible for managing and implementing those controls. And they're different. Like HR controls will be managed and handled by HR team. Administrative controls will be handled by admin team. So you can't allow these people to work in silos as far as controls and security are concerned. So you have to have a centralized framework which can knit and combine all these different controls implemented in an organization so that you can have a holistic view of a security of an organization. So like you see the question when I take you through people control, that question must have come into your mind that why I'm using this, because security, when we talk about security, we think about technical security only. But here you see, this is what we have covered: screening, we do background verification, terms and condition of employment, NDAs, non-disclosure agreements and terms of condition, the trainings, this is all being given, okay? Then disciplinary process, responsibilities after termination or change of employment, or confidentiality or NDA signed. You see, this is all part of security. Be it you use ISO 27000 framework or any other framework, I will cover that with you also, the standards and framework that you can have. So this is what we have covered. It's all considered as a part of security only. Okay, so let's move further. Hope that is clear, the personal management controls.
Yes, sir.
Okay.